I just maxed out my credit card spending $500 on CS2 investments to see if we can beat the interest that I'm going to be paying on said credit card. Now when we're doing this, there's a couple big things we got to remember, the first of which is giving ourselves the best opportunity to profit, and that's going to be starting with buying skins. Now when you're buying skins, there's 3 different ways you can do so. The first of which is heading over to the Steam market right here and depositing your money directly. Now this is going to be a very bad idea because you're going to be losing potentially 20 to 25% of your money instantly by depositing. You're going to want to check out a third party. If you're looking for a marketplace, Buff is going to be the #1 most suggested, but there's a couple problems with it. First up, you can't even deposit your money directly onto the site unless you're a Chinese citizen, and second of all, it's going to be extremely long to go ahead and try and get your items. It's a peer-to-peer service, meaning that someone has to send you their items. They don't always do it, and you're paying extra fees on top of this whenever you're trying to acquire balance. It's a very long process. Now what I'm going to be using in this video is today's sponsor, SkinSwap, and it makes sense because if we want to look at the calculations, it's coming in with a 0.4% overpay compared to Buff. That's less than half of 1%, and we're going to be proving that later on inside of the video, so it just makes sense for all the convenient factors they offer, including the quick 40% deposit bonus, easy selling your skins, and their trading feature taking less than 30 seconds. It's going to be phenomenal, and that's exactly what we're using. Now talking about how investing works, there's going to be 3 big categories we're going to be breaking down. The first one is going to be operations. Now you've probably heard of an operation, but we haven't seen one in a very significant amount of time, but there's a lot of investment potential that comes with these. The biggest thing about this is it's going to be bringing a ton of new consumable items into the game. When we're talking about investing, the #1 thing that I personally look for is an item that's consumable. This means you can unbox it, apply it, or do whatever with it, but delete it and it gets applied. That's extremely important because that means the supply on these is usually going to be decreasing as long as people are still interested in the item. Now inside of an operation, there's a lot of different investments, but there's a couple big main ones. The first one is going to be skins. Usually skins from an operation tend to go up extremely significantly after that operation is removed because people still want the skins at the top. They're used for trade-ups and therefore they become extremely desirable. Otherwise, there's usually some sort of consumable item that comes along with this, whether that's patches, stickers, or a different combination of the two. These ones are usually going to be decent investments as long as there's demand behind it. It does not guarantee a great investment just because it comes from an operation. A lot of them have flopped in the past. You got to make sure you're investing into items that specifically people want to invest into as well, or people want to use the items. One of those two needs to be there. And then lastly, we have the operation case. Now the operation case is a very different case from the rest of the ones we're going to be talking about in the video. That's because an operation case is completely discontinued. There is no more supply coming in for these cases, so theoretically, as long as there's demand for these cases, the price should keep on going up. Now if we want to look at them right now, they're extremely expensive because we haven't seen an operation in a decent amount of time. I would not suggest picking them up right now, but usually during an operation and afterwards, they end up being a very popular investment because people know this. The next big thing is going to be a major. This is a Valve hosted event where they go ahead and show off the best 24 teams out of the entire game to go have them compete. Now when we talk about a major, there's a couple big things that come along with it. The first one is going to be the sticker capsules. Now sticker capsules are the most crucial part of a major because if we want to look previously, they used to be guaranteed profit every single time they were making tons of money. It is not that way anymore. We can see right now if we want to look at the Paris capsules, they are down from their initial price point of over 1 year ago. This is not guaranteed profit like it used to be, but there still is investment potential inside of this area. Talking about the Paris sticker capsules, a lot of them have shown some pretty decent statistics of the application numbers and of the demand they have. The biggest problem is the supply. If we want to talk about the Paris major, there was over $110 million given out to just the teams themselves because so many capsules were bought. Now this creates a huge imbalance inside of this area because there's a lot of demand for these, but the problem is the supply is just way too massive because we keep on seeing borderless stickers. It's obviously an area where you need to figure out if you want to make an investment into it, but right now majors are one of the more risky investments that you're going to be making. Otherwise, there are some other things that come along with a major, specifically souvenir packages. Souvenir packages are hands down one of the worst investments you can make inside of the game. They are continually repeating the skins, they have no unique factor about them anymore, and you can buy them directly from Valve for $3 during an actual major, and therefore they offer no incentive to invest. Right now, currently ongoing, we have the Copenhagen major with the capsules and the souvenir packages for sale. I will say be extremely cautious inside of this area. Not only have we not even seen the 75% off sale by the time I'm recording this, but overall this is going to be a very invested into sticker, and be very mindful of that. Lastly, we have the case market. Now there's a lot to break down, but I'm not going to go too deep into it. If we're talking about the case market, there's 2 separate categories. We've got the rare cases and the active duty cases. Active duty cases are cases that are currently dropping. They make up 99% of the drop pool. Whenever you level up, you've got a 99% chance to get one of these 5 cases. Therefore, we're not investing into them because they don't have those qualities we're looking for of being decreasing in supply. Instead, focusing in on the rare cases, there's a lot of potential inside of this area because they only make up 1% of the drop pool. Almost all of these cases are going to be decreasing in supply, and usually they retain a relatively stagnant demand, which is extremely good considering that means it's consistent. When we're talking about these cases, I specifically focus in on the cheaper rare cases. These are the cases that are going to be your Prismas, your CS20, your Horizon, your Clutch. A lot of cases in this price category have a lot of potential in the future, and they haven't been super developed. Something like the Chroma 3, the Spectrums, the Gammas, the Revolvers, these are good investments. They're a little bit more expensive and a little bit safer. They're going to be great options if you're looking to balance out your overall investment by not having everything be in the cheaper rare cases. I personally hold a mix of these two because I think they're going to be the most prominent areas in the near future because all of them still get extremely large demand for unboxing. Otherwise, then we have the expensive cases. Now, these are ones that I completely avoid at the current moment because I don't think there's enough potential inside of this area. You're investing a lot of money for a case that's going to be a safe investment, but it's not going to be getting you any real return. And the truth is, CS2 investing is extremely risky as it is. Why would I choose the safest option here when I'm not going to get any return? Now, getting to what specifically we're going to be making as our investment, it's going to get slightly confusing here. Remember, we're using Skin Swap, and because we're depositing our $500 onto there, we have $700 in site credit. So we're going to get the two quickest ones out of the way first. That's going to be the Revolver and the Chroma 3 cases. That's because we can actually directly buy these from the site, and it's extremely similar to that price point we're going to be seeing on Buff. As I mentioned earlier, the Chroma 3 case is within 0.5% of the Buff price, which means it's absolutely unreasonable to not pick this up. On the website, we're using $208, which is the equivalent to about $150 USD, which is significantly cheaper than the Steam price of $185 if we deposited our money directly on there. We're then going to be using a remaining just about $500 on the site to pick up these three skins right here, which we're going to go ahead and sell on the Steam market so we can go ahead and buy on there. Now, after going ahead and selling off those three items, we are left with just under $387 to work with and spend on the remaining items for our investments. First up, we're going to be buying 130 of the Prisma 1 case at 63 cents a piece, coming out to just under $82. These are going to be some of the cheaper rare cases we were mentioning earlier, and therefore it's extremely important we pick some of these up. Then we're going to be picking up 70 of the Stockholm Legend sticker capsule. If we want to look at the application numbers, this is the one that's been showing the most out of Stockholm, and we want some exposure to the older sticker market, and it's not too expensive of a price point for us to get in there at that. Then we're grabbing 100 of the Antwerp Contender sticker capsule. Once again, a little bit of an older sticker, not too old. It's at a perfect price point of 54 cents, and I think these ones are definitely going to be playing a massive part in our portfolio. Rounding out the sticker market, we're grabbing 450 of the Paris Challenger sticker capsule. Now, at an only 18-cent price point, this is extremely cheap, but they're also extremely risky. Obviously, we know the volatility inside of this area, but I think it's just too cheap for the other investments we're making to pass this one up. Then, so we have a hedge against an operation, we're going to be grabbing 50 filler skins in the blue category, the Anodized Navy, one of the most popular, at 56 cents a piece. 50 of them is going to run us $28. This is just in case an operation drops because some of our items would probably drop in price with it. And finally, wrapping it up, we're grabbing 124 of the Clutch case, one of the cheaper rare cases, actually the second cheapest, and therefore it makes us a good opportunity here if the market starts to pick up. These are going to be one of the most profitable gainers for us. Now, since we're buying all of this on a credit card, you can see the breakdown right here of how much it's going to be costing us each month in interest. We're saying the credit card has 30% interest because that's what mine has, and then we've also got some comparisons. If we were looking at a mortgage, which would be roughly 7%, and a payday loan, which is 660%. You can see at the end of 6 months, we're going to be needing to make about $80 on our investments, theoretically, for us to break even. We're looking to make more than that. That's all I got with you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.